All right, we are back. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We are the RMFantasy SXperts here for round 6 of Monster Energy Supercross. Round 5 it is in the books. Christian, sum it up in one word.
Lime.
We're gonna bring some things to the limelight.
Yeah, we gotta bring the lime to the light.
Well, let's get right into it. This is our race recap from round 5 in San Diego. All right, Christian, so round 5, it's in the books. It was muddy. There was a lot of lime in the dirt that has some riders with some irritated skin.
Some riders, irritated skin, irritated bikes.
Even Roxon posted that he couldn't ride for practice because his butt was chafed.
Yeah, it caused some issues. It was a mess all around, I think.
Well, let's talk about results, though. Probably the most unique top 5 that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Tomac taking his first win. Marv had a stellar ride in second place.
Late pass.
Passed Roxon, literally the second to last straightaway.
Yep.
Roxon taking third. And since Marv did pass Ken on that last lap, that saved me, got me points, so thank you.
Also hurt me.
Hurt you, helped me.
Without fantasy, I don't think too many people care, but that was a big deal.
Justin Bogle, first top 5 of the year. I'm shocked, but also excited.
In dominant fashion, he was up there in second place for a while. He was running good. So.
Dino, I guess, was getting in his way, is what I hear.
Yeah, there might have been a little drama there.
Chad Reed making the top 5 for the first time, 5th place.
And first time in a while, so good race by him.
Yes, and your boy.
My boy, Cole Martinez. Let's talk about this man. He's made the main the last 2 weeks, comes in, takes 13th this week, which blows my mind. We got some stats on who picked him. Don't feel bad if you didn't.
How many people did pick Cole for the wild card?
Cole was only picked by 91 people out of the 70,000 playing.
0.13%?
Yeah, it's funny. The last time the wild card percent was that low was when he took the wild card in 15th last year.
In fact, more people picked Eli Tomac as the wild card than Cole Martinez.
Almost twice as many people picked Eli Tomac in 13th as Cole Martinez. So
interesting.
He's my new guy. I'm out here to watch this guy.
Looks like average points were pretty good. When Tomac wins, we always know score is going to be up a little bit. It's what, 28.64?
Yep.
That's the highest so far this year. Still no perfect scores.
No perfect scores. The average yearly score is 116. So if you're doing better or worse than that.
Okay.
And the high score is because he wins. And he's always the #1 pick to win. So 45% had him chosen to win. I tricked the fantasy gods and switched him back in the first place right before. So.
Well, as far as injuries go, we could possibly have Justin Hill being out. He had a crash in practice.
Chest injury.
Some ribs and some stuff. Went to the hospital. Justin Brayton says he will be at Minneapolis. So injured thumb.
Yep.
And then Anderson obviously out, Stewart and Bloss as well, but Osborne should be making his debut this week at Minneapolis.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
But also, do not go anywhere, stick around, because later on, we have a very special guest calling in. If you watch motocross, and you probably know who she is, Miss Carrie Bolling.
And you don't want to miss that. She's doing exceptionally good. We got to figure out what she's doing.
Yep, and we're going to give away that discount code later on in the show where you can help save money on other parts this weekend. So stick around. But first, let's talk about it. Minneapolis, round 6 coming up. Here it is, track trends.
So heading east, Minneapolis, first East Coast round this year. We looked at the track map. Pretty interesting. Looks awesome to me.
Looks better than last week's track.
Yeah, looks a lot better in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so. Like I said, last week, if it hadn't been a mutter, I don't think it would have been a very good racetrack.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Not a lot to talk about, maybe.
But yeah, but I watched the track map. Looks pretty good. Long start straight.
I think that's really going to help, the strong starters.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see... I don't know, like last year in the Triple Crown, Ben LeMay had a whole shot.
But what I like more about the longer start races is maybe you don't get the best jump off the gate. You still have a little bit more time to either hold it on a little bit longer. So it just adds more variables to the start. So I like them. But
I like it too.
I kind of noticed it interesting. You got the whoop section, good rhythm sections, no sand. But then there's a dragon's back that just goes to a flat landing on the start straight.
Yeah, that could cause some action.
So. Yeah, hopefully nobody endos over that.
Yep.
But last year, what we have for results?
It was a Triple Crown round.
That's right.
3 riders got the whole shots, 3 different riders, so Tomac, LeMay, and Cunningham. And the podium ended up being Tomac, Anderson, and Musquin. That's when Tomac really went on his run last year. So
yeah, he started there. All right, well, there it is. That's a track map. What do you guys think? If you watched it, give your comments. What do you think the track's going to be like this weekend? But now let's talk about it, because we've had a lot of different red plate holders so far this year. Yeah. Will it change again, do you think? Maybe someone takes it back?
Probably not this week. I don't know.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Well, let's get into it. These are the top contenders for our top 5 spots. All right, Christian, we have 4 riders up here on the table. We've got Tomac, Muscan, Webb, Roxon. 3 of these guys have held the red plate at some point.
Yeah, it's been moving around.
Now, here's what's interesting. Some people might say, well, why isn't Barsha up there? Because he was a red plates holder. Barsha has not made the top 5 since he won in Anaheim 1.
It doesn't even seem right to say it. It blew my mind. I had to double check, but yeah, he hasn't made the top 5 since then. I don't feel comfortable with him right now.
All right, well, Tomac now has the red plate for the first time this year. Do you think he'll lose it or keep it?
I think that red plate is going to stay there for a while.
For a while?
For a while. I mean, he just won a gnarly San Diego. He's won the last 2 Minnesotas. He's won the first 2 rounds on the East Coast last year, which he also qualified first at. So watch his qualifying. It usually is a pretty good sign.
Yeah. So what's interesting, though, is despite having the 4th best average start gate drop, so not, 4 is not terrible.
It's not bad.
But with being the 4th overall in that, he has the best average finish of any rider, which is 3.
That tells me he can pass pretty much anyone if you give him the time. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, but I don't feel like he's made that many passes here, but I guess he's put himself in good spots. But I don't know. What about Muscan? What do you have for him?
Marv, the man just keeps taking second place. I don't know what's going on. That's why I didn't put him in second place last week, but he goes and does it again.
3rd straight, second place finish.
3rd straight. All right. He still hasn't led a lap this year, which blows my mind.
That, to me, is surprising.
And his 2019 averages per gate drop is qualifying 5th, start 4.43, and finish 3.8. So he's solid.
Okay.
He's been flying. I'm still putting him in second. I'm gonna let that ride. So,
all right.
Cooper Webb.
Cooper Webb's made the top 5 in 3 of the 5 rounds so far this year with 2 wins.
And he was charging hard last week, had a mishap.
Yeah.
Might be team issues. I don't know.
What's interesting, though, is that both times Webb has qualified 2nd, he didn't finish in the top 5.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to pick him right.
Yeah, it is.
Because what is this? The times he's finished 5th or worse, 2 of those 3 or whatever, somewhere he's been in the top 5 more when he qualifies 5th or worse.
Okay, so. And what's interesting though is that average finish last year for Webb was 5 spots better on the East than it was on the West.
For whatever reason, he does good on the East.
Okay, how about Roxon? Let's see here.
Roxon nursing his injuries. They're pretty gnarly. We saw on his Instagram.
Man about lost a nipple.
It was not looking like a good time.
Okay.
I still think, he's a 3rd, 4th range rider for me. He hasn't started or finished worse than 6th this year.
Okay.
He's led 19 laps, but he hasn't won a round or even a main at the Triple Crown.
Wow.
What do you think?
Man, it's hard. At the start of the season, I thought he had the most momentum. I thought he was going to be up there, and he's progressively gone backwards.
He's kind of playing it safe or something.
I really just don't know exactly what to do. Maybe it's the bike and he's still trying to sort it out, but I still just don't see him as winning this weekend. But he's for sure going to be in one of those spots.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can't count the man out.
He's safe in the top 5.
Well, there you go. You've seen it. Those are our top contenders. What do you guys think that are watching or listening? Did we get it right? Or do we see somebody else crack it? Who is due?
It's already happened. I mean, we got some people to go over, so.
Yeah, we do. Let's get into it. These are our weekly spoilers.
So the hardest pick for me these days is that 4th, 5th range. A spoiler's always going to get in there. It seems like one of these guys does it every week. I mean,
well, we've seen it every week. Okay, so week 1, who was our big spoiler?
Dean Wilson coming out leading, taking 4th. Okay. Not a lot of people had that.
No. Round 2?
Blake Baggett.
Baggett comes and wins after like a 12th at round 1.
Not a high pick.
Round 3 and 4, Webb comes in and just cleans house.
Yeah.
And then last weekend we had Justin Bogle and Chad Reed.
And Justin Bogle running 2nd for a long time.
And had a really good heat race. So every week we have somebody who cracks into that top 5 that you're not expecting. So I'm starting to realize that I think it's a good strategy to take your top 4, your solid guys.
Conservative picks.
And then take that last pick, whoever you might think, and throw somebody in there that maybe doesn't have, isn't the most obvious guy.
I like it.
Chances are it's going to pay off by what we've seen so far.
You're keeping yourself pretty safe with your 4 conservative ones, then get a little risky. I like it. I wouldn't get more risky with more than 1 pick, in my opinion.
Okay. But for this week's spoilers, we have Dean Wilson.
Big news for Wilson, though. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, he's under the Rockstar Husky tent now.
He's moved on to the factory team.
Okay. He's going to be pitting with Zach Osborne, who is now back for the races.
Yep.
Then we've got Blake Baggett, Justin Barsha.
Okay.
What do we got here?
How do you rank these guys?
How do I rank them? Well, Dean Wilson, he's already done it. He's been right on the cusp of another top 5.
He's got that extra confidence on the team now. He got to keep all his sponsors, it sounded like.
So. Yeah, so I see him being right around that top 5 spot. Now, Osborne obviously hasn't raced yet, so for me, it's kind of a question mark, but I still think a lot of people know that this man can fly, and...
I'm big on that guy.
Yeah, is he in your top 5 big?
Maybe not right now, but I'm seeing big things coming from that guy. And he's a past 250 East champion, the last 2 years?
2 years, and outdoor championship.
And you got to mention that he does not have any line burns. He might be the only rider just riding fresh, nothing to worry about. So,
do we have good stats on Baggett here?
Blake Baggett, he's finished on the podium every other week, so technically he's due. I think he's a solid pick still. He was on pace to possibly podium in Minneapolis last year until he had a rough third main.
Okay.
And his 2019 standard round averages, he's qualifying 8th, he's starting 8th, he's finishing 6.25, so he's up there. Your boy Barsha, what's going on?
Yeah, you know, Barsha, after winning A1, I think it's kind of been a disappointment. Yes, he does have that tailbone injury, but I expect more out of this man. Now, is he going to be in my top 5? No. But if Barsha ripped a good start and finished in the top 5, I'm not going to sit there and be upset about it.
No, let's look. He's got hurt. He's got the hurt tailbone. Then he pulls a 3rd place start last week.
Yep.
Has a mechanical issue. It's like he's catching a lot of bad breaks. Like, I kind of see it leveling out at some point. I think he's going to get some good breaks. So I'm kind of high up on him.
Okay. But what do you guys think? Are there other riders, again, that haven't cracked the top 5? Like last week, we saw Bogle and Reed. Can one of those two do it again?
You know the Reed fans are going to come at us hot. He made the top 5. Why are we not talking about him? Congrats to him, but I still don't feel comfortable with him there yet.
Okay, but let's get into it next because the wild card this week's going to be tough because it's 8th, and there's a lot of riders that could finish in 8th.
That's right.
All right, here it is. This is Wild Card Watch. All right, Christian, wild card this week, 8th place. That's a tough one. But we have some good stats to help you guys out who are looking to make your picks. So on the table, we got Joey Savacci, Aaron Plessinger, Cole Seeley, Zach Osborne, Justin Bogle, Chad Reed. Did you just put Cole Martinez on the table?
Let's talk about this guy.
Let's not talk about him.
He's climbing every week.
Dude.
I mean, 15th, 13th.
Yeah, 13th in a mutter.
This man needs the respect.
Okay, but not for 8th place. Thank you. Okay, Plessinger, average finish this year, 9.8. Has gotten 7th or better start in the last 2 standard rounds.
I like him.
Okay, what about Savacci?
Savacci has finished. He's finished 7th and 8th already this year. And at the Triple Crown and at A2, he finished 8th twice. So he might be jiving with that spot a bit.
Okay.
Your other boy, the second Cole.
The second Cole. So Cole Seeley. So his average qualifying 9.6, average start 9.43, average finish 10.
Yeah, he's kind of been on the decline, but you know he's going to turn it around eventually.
But I think he's better than 8th, so we'll see. Zach Osborne, we don't have any stats on the man.
It's just a kind of a gut feeling we both had.
Yeah,
so I mean,
we talked about him as a spoiler, but I think 8th is a good finish. You know, when these riders come in fresh, even if they're in shape, those are air quotes if you're listening, it's still, you can't mimic a race condition. And so, trust me, you think you're in shape until you go racing. So I kind of want to see where his stamina is.
I'm just going to say right now, I have a weird feeling he's going to do better than any other rookie this round.
Okay, what about Justin Bogle?
Justin Bogle, I know 8th is a long ways away from 4th and running 2nd where he was last week, but he just crashes too many times for my liking. I still think an 8th would be respectable for that man.
Okay.
He's started in 8th or better in 3 of the 4 standard rounds, and his average overall finish over the last 2 rounds is 7th.
Okay.
So you got to respect that man. Your boy Chad Reed, still killing it.
Yeah, I got to give love to the Reed people out there because we get hated on sometimes. So Reed, his average starts for the last 2 rounds are 9. His average finish is 7. He's taken 9th place, or has 2 9th place finishes this year.
Yeah, so he's right around that range.
He is right around that.
I like it.
So there you go. Those are some good riders, again, for that wild card position going off of stats. But what do you guys think?
I want to hear it.
Well, I want to hear it, but we also have some interesting information coming up with our caller. We talked about her before.
A real SXpert this year.
Yeah, the real SXpert, you could say almost, because she is crushing it. Let's get her on the phone. This is Between Two Berms with Carrie Bolling. All right, so we have her on the phone. We already introduced her just a little bit. If you watch motocross, you know who she is.
Yeah, she's well known in the industry and a real SXpert this year.
That is true. So. This is Between Two Berms with Carrie Bolling. What's up, Carrie?
Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for having me on today.
Well, thanks for coming on. So you've had a pretty good year so far in fantasy. Yes, you are beating Christian and I. Let's just get that out of the way. But you're crushing it.
She's in 200th overall. What's the secret? What's going on?
Yeah, what's in the sauce this year?
I don't know. I've been playing. I played last year. We had a fantasy group set up, Nicole and I played the year before, and I would get so frustrated because Nicole never failed, forgot to pick her picks like 6 times out of all of the races. And she would crush it. And she was always in like the top 10 in our group. And I was always like number 300. And it would drive me crazy. So this year, actually, I started a new strategy. I started watching y'all's videos and using some of the statistics and stuff like that to pick my numbers. And it's working so far. I'll have to say that every year or every race, I get so much more stressed out picking them because I have a fear that this is going to be the race that I don't get anybody. And that'll probably happen this week now that I'm talking about it on your show. But fingers crossed I keep the luck going.
Right on.
Awesome.
So what's the name of your fantasy group?
So Nicole and I started one last year, and it was a big hit, so we kept it going this year. And it's kind of hard to say over this, but it's N times C Fantasy XX.
All right.
SX.
We'll get that on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll make it way easier for everyone.
And you joined Christian and I, our group this year, and she moved right to second.
Just to rub it in.
I did, I know.
Right
I
on.
saw that. I was listening to one of your shows, and I was like, I should probably join theirs just because I'm doing well. And then I randomly looked at it, and it said I was in second, and I was like, oh, heck yeah. I'm killing them. And then at one point, I was like, I might have more than them combined, but...
It's pretty close, actually.
You had a good week last week, so that didn't happen.
I did. Mooscan saved me.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Me
on.
too.
All right. Well, so this week, Carrie, I almost called you Nicole, we're going into Minneapolis. We had the mud. That's out of the way. So this week, we're in a dome, dry conditions.
East Coast.
East Coast. Give us your thoughts on this week and your top 5 and that wild card.
All right. The pressure's on. Just a little disclaimer. It never fails. I change my picks like 5 minutes before the main event starts. So
That's all
or
right.
the night starts. So it's going to change, definitely.
Okay.
But and every other weekend, I've put Tomac in first. Strategy there being, I always thought if it was either going to be Tomac winning or it was going to be somebody totally off the wall. And I feel like that's been a pretty good
It's worked good so far.
way to live by over the past few races.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, this weekend, I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to put Mooskin in first this weekend. I think
Really?
Yeah.
Let's move him up.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about that one.
You know what?
I thought about it.
I thought about it, but you know what? Tomac, he's had a couple interviews. You saw him on maybe the Whiskey Throttle show.
Mm-hmm.
He
Feeling
said
better.
he's almost there where he finds that magical place where he just essentially can't be stopped.
When he goes east,
And he is a beast on the east.
yeah, he gets going.
So I have Tomac for first this weekend, but continue. Who else you got?
I have Tomac in second this week. I think that he's going to do really well. He's coming off the win last weekend, but it's totally different riding in mud and then coming to a facility that has a roof over it, and it's going to be extremely dry. So
That's true.
I put Tomac in second, and then I put Webb in third. I think that he's still kind of running off the excitement from the last few races. Last weekend, not so much, but he kind of is probably going to like reset with the dry, and
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
don't know. I think he's going to be third
Yep.
for sure.
Okay. Fourth.
And then had Roxon in fourth, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to put Baggett in fourth and Roxon in fifth. I'm a little worried about Roxon's rashes from last weekend, so play it safe with that one.
He's definitely
All right.
slightly injured.
All right, and then the wild card. Who do you guys have for wild card?
I'm actually looking at Osborne. I know he's coming back for his first round, so I don't expect him to be top 5. What about you, Christian?
I like Osborne. I thought about it, but right now I have Plessinger in my wild card.
Who do you have, Carrie?
I feel like Plessinger is pretty good, but I won't pick him, so I'll let you guys in on a little secret because I was watching a show that you guys did a couple weeks ago. I think it was probably the first one of the season, and you talked about how you've never gotten the wild card. So my strategy with that is never pick the same wild card as you.
Thanks.
So
It's
I'm going to go with
been
Wilson.
working.
I think Wilson will be in it this weekend.
You got Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Dino, 7th place. So you've got Marvin Muscan, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Blake Baggett, Ken Roxon, Dean Wilson.
That's who I got.
All right.
I feel good about it.
I feel good about it, except that Tomac deal, because you know he's won Minneapolis 2 years in a row. So, but we'll see what happens. And you said you always change your picks last second.
Yeah, I know. You guys are convincing me. I haven't seen this week's episode, so I might have to change them back first.
Well, there might be some stats that'll throw you through a loop, but we'll let you know.
Yeah, goodness. And, hey, we still have a little while till Saturday, so a lot can happen in the next 48 hours.
True.
True story. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. So glad to see you're playing RM Fantasy and that you're doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Now,
I like to talk to the people doing good, see what they're doing here.
See what you are doing. And apparently she just does the opposite of us in Wildcard, and she's crushing it.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
Okay.
So.
Well,
hey,
if you want to.
it worked.
Yeah. So everyone watching or listening, if you want to, join Carrie's group. We'll have it posted. Carrie, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck this weekend. And we're going to check your picks out to see how everything unfolds on Sunday morning.
That's right.
All right. Thank you guys for having me again. This is one of my bucket list items.
All right. Sounds good. We appreciate calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye.
But
Carrie has spoken.
you know what? She brings up a lot of good points. I like talking to those guys.
She's been around these riders a long time, so she really does have good insight.
The more you talk to people who play fantasy, everyone has like a different strategy. I like to go
I like to hear it. But there you go. That is it. But now, you know what time it is.
Time to lock them in.
Let's do it. All right, Christian, let's lock them in. Here are my picks up on the table. Eli Tomac's going to retain the red plate, I think, for a while.
I agree.
Blake Baggett. I'm going to switch things up a little bit this week. Blake Baggett, 2nd place. Ken Roxon, 3rd place. Cooper Webb, 4th. Marvin Muscan, 5th. And I like Osborne for the wild card.
You just got that gut feeling on him.
I got it.
I can't argue with you.
Okay, what do you have?
I got Tomac doubling down. I agree with that.
So we both disagree with Carrie.
Yep. I still think Muscan is going to go to his happy place in 2nd. I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing there. But then I have Roxon in 3rd, Webb in 4th, Baggett in 5th. So we actually have the same top 5.
Who's your wild card?
Wild card, I like Osborne, but not Osborne. I thought about Coley Cole. I took him out. Going with Aaron Plessinger or Plessinger.
Yeah, careful now. Careful.
As my 8th place, even though Barsha has taken it in 6th and 7th.
All right.
I'm sticking with Plessinger.
We need a good week because if you look at the stats from last week, Jim and Daniel, our rivals, how'd they do?
They got stuck in the mud last week.
They got stuck in Limegate.
Yeah, they got stuck in Limegate. They're sitting at 205 points as a team. We gapped them a bit up to 288. All in part. I think we would have done the same whether Roxon or Marv stayed there. But
well, let's get an even bigger cush.
I'm not comfortable with it yet.
Let's maintain that points lead.
That's right.
All right. Well, there you have it. Those are our picks. What do you think? Disagree? Do you like them? But now let's talk about why it pays to play RM Fantasy SX. Here it is. This is our prize recap.
Prizes for round 6. Huge, like always. The top scorers this week are going to get 1st place, Wrench Rabbit Engine Rebuild Kit. Jumpstart your spring. Then 2nd place, a Cherby Spending Spree. 3rd place, Liat GPX 5.5 V19 Helmet. Then other prizes coming down from Pro Honda, OGO, Pirelli, RevArc, Fox, Fly Racing, Bell, and of course 90 Rocky Mountain gift cards.
And those are just the weekly prizes.
That's right. That's
Remember,
just getting
people,
started.
You don't have to, even if you sign up this week and you haven't even been playing yet, you can still win a weekly prize. But now let's talk about the grand prizes, the people that are in the hunt. First grand prize, 450 SXF Race Prep KTM. 2nd place, 250 Race Prep KTM SXF. Trip to Moab, MEC trip. Brock Glover doing the legend ride for Dunlop Fly Racing Gear. Milestone Video Game Supercross to the Game console and 4K TV. Motion Pro tools, Tusk Impact wheel set, and of course Oakley goggle and sunglasses.
Yeah, going big.
A lot of awesome prizes. Now, Christian, what is the code for this week?
This week, the code is CLMXB19. Will save you an extra 10% off closeout MX boots. So that could be some big savings. Make sure you get in there and take advantage.
Now, the last thing I just want to say real quick is that for all you riders out there, show up to the gate a little bit earlier. Did you see the guy last week that showed up?
We couldn't make it through the show without bringing it up.
I just had to.
I thought he had longer time. I think he had more time.
I don't know who the guy was, but a rider showed up to the gate drop with no goggles, looked confused, and the riders left. So
I just picture him wide open, taking it to the eyes, and then probably eating it. So.
Anyway, well, there you have it. Thanks for tuning in and listening. That is our show for round 6.
That's right. Make sure to add the calendar to your device. Don't miss your picks. It's East Coast, going to shut down early this week. So
yeah, there you go. So remember, go join our group on Fantasy Christian. What's it called?
RMFantasySX Rivals. Compete with us, talk trash, bring whatever you got. So
bring it. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.
You had to bring it up. Just